Hey y'all, my name is Mare. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video will hopefully be pretty short and sweet because we're going to be talking about the 4 books that I want to finish before 2022 ends. This is actually a little bit intimidating to film because I really want to hold myself accountable and finish these books. So that's why I only have 4 of them. I wanted to be really careful about my selections because there's only 2 months left in the year, and while that seems like a lot of time, I have some chunky books on this list. I want to say they're all probably at least 400 to 500 pages, some of them a lot more. So this is pretty ambitious because I haven't been reading a lot of long books. I haven't been reading a lot of books. So I think 4 books is as reasonable as I'm going to get. So we're just gonna jump right in. These are all actually fantasy novels. First book, we're just gonna start off with a bang. And that is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. This has been on my TBR for God knows how long. It's embarrassing. I probably talked about this in another video where I was like, books I want to read by the end of the year, and that was 2 years ago. I need to read The Final Empire, and I've decided, you know what, Meredith? Enough's enough. You're gonna read it. I have been dying to read some Brandon Sanderson, and I've heard nothing but great things. Like, honestly, I don't know why I'm so scared to read this book beyond the fact of like just how long it is, but everyone's obsessed with these books. Like, I've never heard a bad review for literally any Brandon Sanderson novel, so I need to get this one done. I'm scared, okay, because this one's probably the longest on the list. How many pages is this? This is 647 pages, which is like not that long actually, but I feel like it's longer than it is. And there's also just a lot of books in the series, so that's another problem. So the back of the book is probably going to do it better than I ever could. So here we go. The mists rule the night. The Lord Ruler owns the world. For 1,000 years, the ash fell. For 1,000 years, the Ska slaved in misery and lived in fear. For 1,000 years, the Lord Ruler reigns with absolute power and ultimate terror, divinely invincible. Every attempted revolt has failed miserably, yet somehow, hope survives. Can you believe it? A new kind of uprising is being planned, one that depends on the cunning of a brilliant criminal mastermind and the courage of an unlikely heroine. A Ska street urchin who must learn to master allomancy, the power of a mistborn. What if the prophesized hero had failed to defeat the Dark Lord? The answer can be found in the Mistborn trilogy, where a saga of surprises awaits. So I think I do remember what like called to me about this book when people were talking about it originally is just the fact that there's kind of this unlikely underdog character who saves the day, and it seems like there's an interesting question posed of like what actually does happen when evil wins. Like, can good actually overcome it? Which like is, you know, at the heart of every fantasy story, but usually there's more of like a clear good versus evil, and I feel like this one's kind of in the middle here, maybe. So really excited about this, really nervous about it, but I'm going to do it. I'm at least gonna start it, okay? Next on this list, Our Violin Ends by Gong. I've talked about this in probably every reading vlog ever for the past few months because I need to read her, okay? I literally just bought Foul Lady Fortune because it was one of the Book of the Month selections, which is a spin-off series from These Violent Delights. So like, I have to read this and I have to like it because I already bought the spin-off. So Our Violin Ends is the sequel to These Violent Delights, which is a young adult fantasy duology following Roma and Juliet. It's a Romeo and Juliet retelling that's set in, I believe, at 1920s Shanghai, where there's 2 rival gangs going head to head against each other, and Roma and Juliet are on opposite sides. So it's very much Romeo and Juliet, but it's got this super fun backdrop of 1920s Shanghai, and there's a lot of mystery aspects to it, and honestly I really enjoyed Gong's writing style. So I want to say I gave These Violent Delights 4 stars, which is a good review. I was pretty critical of reading when I was reading that book, so honestly right now I probably would have given it 5 stars. But I'm super excited to read this one. The reason I haven't read it yet is just because it's been so long since I've read These Violent Delights that I feel like I don't have a very good idea of what went on, so I need to just like sit down, read a synopsis of what happened in that book, and then launch into this one. But I'm super excited for this one as well. Then the 3rd book on this list, you're gonna see why I'm scared. This one might be the longest one on the list. I just looked at the page count. The Serpent's Curse by Lisa Maxwell, coming in at a whopping 749 pages. Guys, Do you see why I haven't read this? Even though I literally went and bought it from the bookstore the day it came out. Yeah, me too. I understand. Meredith, you get a pass for this one. This literally hurts to hold. It's so heavy and I am scared. This is the third book in the Last Magician series. The reason why I need to finish this book in 2022 is because the fourth book is coming out in December and that's going to be the last one, okay? So I want to read this book and I want to read it once and then I want to dive into the fourth book because I reread the first two books in the series before this came out in anticipation of reading this, and then I got it and then I got scared because I just don't do long books like this. But I love The Last Magician. It follows a young girl named Esta who is a thief and she can actually travel back in time using an infinity stone. She went back in time to go get an artifact to help out her like caretaker, and it launches her into this like historical fiction fantasy fun time, and I love that series. I love it so much. Tell me why I haven't read the third book, because I really love Esta, I really love our main love interest Hart, and I'm just so excited to see like their relationship develop and also just to see what happens plot wise. It's just so intimidating when the books get bigger and bigger. Like, I didn't sign up for this. I signed up for like a 400-page novel and then you go to 500 and then you go to 700. I'm literally terrified to see how long the last book is gonna be, but we're gonna try and get this one in before 2022 ends. We're not only gonna try, we're gonna do it, okay? We're gonna do it. The very last book on this list is Flamefall, and this is the last book in the Fireborn trilogy, and this one follows a group of dragon riders. Lee and Annie, they grew up together and they tested into this academy where they could actually ride dragons, and so they are working for their government's military basically together, but then they find out they have different viewpoints, and while they still want to fight for the same thing, they want to fight for it differently. They have like a lot of different opinions on how things should be done. And so what I really love about this series is just how complex it is. I love the complexity of the characters and how they recognize that what they're doing is wrong, but also that they don't know how to do it right, you know, like there really isn't a good choice for them. And so it's just really interesting, and I love the conversations of just like morality and like what is right, what is wrong. I really like Lee and Annie as characters, both for different reasons, and I'm excited to see some of the romances blossom. I'm excited to see what happens in the end of the story, so I definitely want to read this book before the end of 2022. It's like a must. But yeah, those are my 4 books that I need to read by the end of this year. I told you guys this video would be short and sweet. Hopefully I delivered on that. Let me know what's on your end of 2022 TBR. What do you need to read before 2023 comes around? I am really hoping to make these 4 books my priority, so let me know what you're making your priority. Please give me words of wisdom. Please give me some confidence, because we're looking at a couple thousand pages here, and that is a terrifying thing. Okay, but thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a like if you did, subscribe if you want, but yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye y'all.